How's it going, people? We are back in the house doing a bit of a Q&A today, questions and answers with you guys in relation to yesterday's game. It was a very, very good one as far as Arsenal are concerned. My goodness, the first half was so much better than the second half. That first half performance, we're going to get into some of the individuals, some of the team performances. Make sure you hit the like button and you hit subscribe. I'm here with Lee Judges, who's looking as cold as ever, wrapped up nice and warm. And you've been up north, mate, and it must be colder up there. You've come back and you probably ain't warmed up, mate. You from your fan cam, your voice was not too great, mate. Has it got any better?
No, it's a little bit better today, but like still not great. And I got in about 11:45 last night, and up in Burnley, as it always is, it's always cold up there. I don't know what it's about Burnley, but it's always cold. But I got home and I put the fire. I got a fire. I put the fire on, put the heating on all night. And I'm still freezing cold then, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not good. Like, it's my boy's birthday, Charlie, today, and he come round and he said, "Oh, it's half cold in here, Dan." I said, "Cold?" I said, "I've had the heating on all day and all night. Like, I don't know what's going on, like, you know what I mean?" So, but other than that, like, all right.
I hate this weather, mate. I hate this weather. I'm a spring and summer lad.
I don't know about what it was like down south, but yesterday it was sunny, cold, raining, and then in the end it was just really, really, really cold. You know, I had a blanket. I took a blanket with me because I knew I weren't feeling 100% yesterday, and I was cold all the way back. Like, and Burnley is such a long journey, Dan. I know you've been there longer than what you think, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? So
it is, mate. It is, yeah. But I'm with you. I like the spring and the summer, mate. I hate the winter, and you can tell you're in autumn and winter coming. And the only thing I like about winter is Christmas because it's a great time. But other than that, I hate it. And Burnley as an away ground is not really one of my favourite places. I've been there a few times, and it's never got warmer. Every time I've been each year, it gets colder, I'm sure. But yeah, mate, something to warm you up was the first half performance, Judges. Well. What did you make of that?
Do you know what? I thought it was fantastic first half. We opened them up, but we should have been really 3 or 4 up at half time. I thought we played really, really well first half. The second goal for a counter-attacking goal was fantastic. Really, like, you know, people criticise or want to have a little dig at Arsenal and all that. Watch that goal. That is fantastic football. But it weren't just that. We opened them up. Saka had a couple of one-on-ones, which is something that we've not had for a little while, one-on-one situations. Goalkeeper, I thought, done well with one with a good save. I thought the other one, Saka, maybe should have scored. But I thought first half we was really, really good. Zubimendi controlling it in midfield. Gyökeres' best performance. But there was just one standout player for me yesterday. I don't think I've seen a better midfield performance from an all-round midfield player, box-to-box midfield player, like, you know, than what I see yesterday. Unreal. And also I have to say, do you know when you go back to Chelsea years, and I've always said this, when Chelsea went 1-0 up, then like Carvalho and John Terry and the like said, right, this is it. This is for us now. This is our part of the. We got to defend, and I see that similarity with our boys. You know what I mean? There was a bit when they put it on us in the first half, couple of long throws. Gabriel comes steaming out, boom, boom, like, you know what I mean? Like, they got so much pride in their defending. You know, like that if one of those guys makes a mistake, like, I'm not saying them, but when a midfield player makes a mistake, they'd be really on them, like, you know. So it is fantastic to watch. It is fantastic to watch. The chalk and cheese from years ago from our defence. I remember once I was at Sheffield United. We lost 1-0 from a corner. I was right behind the goal, and they conceded a goal. And everybody just shrugged their shoulders. All right, okay, let's go. This team's not like that. They defend like their lives depended on it, Dan, and it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I never thought we was in any danger. Second half was completely, I don't know, we could talk about that, whether you think it was because Gyökeres went off or we thought, oh, do you know what, we'll conserve a bit of energy going forward. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't really know. But I thought it was a really, really good away performance. And I'm not going to lie, Dan. You know what I've been like for these next 2 games. I think they're massive games for us because, you know, like next week's even bigger because the likes of the world, City and Liverpool are playing each other, like, you know what I mean? But like, I
Yeah.
always thought that this was a big game because, you know, like, I thought Liverpool would win, but you never know. And the Bournemouth are playing Manchester City today, you don't know. But next week, I've always felt these two games would be. I had a restless night. I've got to say, I had a restless night. And I remember talking to Russ, because Russ went up there yesterday, like, and he said, like, you know, what are you having a restless night for? It was like it was that comfortable. So big up to the team, big up to everybody, and a good, solid away performance. That damn solid as anything.
It was, and somebody that was as solid as anything for me was Victor Gyokeres, mate. When he came off, it was a shame, really, because I was really impressed with his first half performance. I thought everything we did that was positive either came through him or had him involved. I thought the goal that we scored was the obvious one, but the actual second goal was started from a great ball from him to Trossard out wide for him to then flick into Rice. I thought he did really well with his presence and his build-up play, his link-up play. I thought most of what was good stuck to him. And I was really impressed, with his involvement. And I don't know what it was that he went off with. I still don't really know, if I'm honest with you. They're saying it was minor. They're saying it's nothing to worry about. And he'll be okay for Sunderland. He might be rested for Prague. But I thought we missed him, if I'm honest. And I don't think we can say that this season so far. When he's been off, I don't think we've noticed him be off. When he's played, I don't think we've noticed a massive upgrade on Havertz. But I'll tell you this now. It's another goal, judges, which is 6 goals in 13 games now, I think it is, or 6 in 14. Not too bad for someone who's not very good and isn't doing too great at Arsenal right now. I was impressed with him yesterday, I've got to say.
100%. That first half was as good as what I've seen from him. Like, you know, you know, you want him to score goals, and I'm glad that he got the goal, but you know, he couldn't miss. But at the end of the day, he's there. You know what I mean? Like, that is an art. You know, like, people say, oh, it's, you know, oh, I can score that and do this and all that. You've got to be there to score that. So that was the thing. I thought his all-round play was really good. He's, you know, the second goal, the pass, the vision to look up and see that. I thought he was really, really good yesterday. Like, you know, the biggest worry for me now is that, you know, him and Zubimendi went off injured yesterday. And like, this thing about, he has played a lot of games, Gyökeres, but he didn't play on Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like, people forget that. Like, and all did Zubimendi, both rested and they're both injured now. Like, you know, I hope it's not massive and it's just precaution. I will say this, that Saliba come off with a knock, Declan Rice come off with a knock, and they're back the following week. So hopefully it is precaution. And it's something that probably we're not used to, because we've had to run these players into the ground then, like, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, like, oh, all right, well, I've got a little bit of a pain here, come off, you know, bring somebody else on. So I think that's a good thing. But I thought that I think we've got to get these forwards back. Like, Madueke's got to get back into this team squad as soon as he can. Havertz has got to come, because we need these players to share the minutes about. Like, you know what I mean? We don't want players, you know, playing all the time. I thought Trossard played really well yesterday. Worked his socks off yesterday, Trossard. You know, we ain't got Martinelli as well, and I felt that for the first time in a long while, the bench looked a little bit light as far as attacking options were concerned, you know. But listen, at the end of the day, got the result. But those injuries are a little bit of a worry for me. Like, but I'm so pleased that Gyökeres, when, you know, because it was down the other end of the pitch, Dan, you didn't know who scored it at first. So, like, you know, people were going, oh, I think it's Gabriel, and I was going, I hope it's Gyökeres, you know what I mean? And when it was, I was well pleased, like, you know. So I think that, listen, that's what we bought him for as well, Dan, to get those goals, those sort of, you know, as I said, you know, I mean, I don't know where Havertz would have been in that situation, but, like, you know, he is a goal for it. Now, listen, when in the second half, Marino come on, I know he didn't have a great game, but his game is different, where he's looking to drop into the midfield and pick up the ball and all that, instead of going the other way like Gyökeres is doing. Havertz does the same. and we didn't look as dangerous. Now I know that it's a bit harsh on Marino, and maybe we did reserve a little bit of whatever, but you could see that the style of the central defenders and everybody just squeezes up that little bit more, Dan, and makes it a bit more difficult. So
Yeah.
I think Gyökeres is helping us without scoring as well at times, like, and I think that was highlighted yesterday, like in that performance.
I think Victor Gyokeres is getting a little bit of stick, and I think some of it has been justifiable. I don't think you can give him stick yesterday, though. I think whoever's giving him stick yesterday, for me personally, ain't watching what he's doing, because I thought everything he did was positive, and I thought that he was massively involved in everything that was good about our play, bruv. So I thought he deserved a mention, and I'll go back quickly to Rice for my take on him. I thought he was phenomenal, mate. I thought he was absolutely ridiculously good. And I compared him on my show to Patrick Vieira, and people will probably lose their head when I say this, because I'm not comparing them in terms of quality, because Vieira is levels on Rice. But I think the attributes are so similar, judges. I've got to be honest.
I know what you're saying. I know exactly.
I think the attributes are so similar, you know, and people will look at Rice as someone who can do certain bits and pieces, but he is an all-round midfielder. And the last time we had one of them was Patrick Vieira, really. And I don't think that I've seen a pair complement each other in midfield for quite some time. And I think we might have one now in Zubimendi and Rice, because I think they seem to get each other already. You know, when we had last season, I said this on my show, we had Partey and then Rice, and then over here we had Odegaard. We got that now, and they do that. I love it. I love that. And this is when you and I were like sort of disagreeing about Rice's position, I could see where you were coming from, and I think you could kind of see where I was coming from. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's because the answer was like he can kind of do a little bit of it all. Like he's good off the ball, he's good at intercepting, he's brilliant at duels, he wins his battles, but he's actually really good at driving forward. And yesterday, I know it was only Burnley, and he should beat Burnley, but I'll tell you what, sometimes I'm impressed with those performances just as I am when it's under the lights and when it's time to get up for games. Because, you know, sometimes we Burnley, oh, Christ, that's a trick. 3 o'clock Saturday, I'm already feeling that one. But, you know, get that one out of the way and look forward to the one midweek. Like, that's when it's hard. I thought his concentration, focus levels were outstanding. Defensively, he was brilliant. Covered every blade of grass. Thought he got every movement forward. And I'll say this, I don't think there is a dead ball or set piece taker right now better than Declan Rice in Europe. I can't name him any that do what he does. And I never saw it at West Ham. I don't think West Ham really saw it, if I'm honest. He has been nothing short of sensational when it comes to these set pieces and dead balls. It's outstanding, Lee. It really is.
On the button, he is absolutely on the button, like, you know. And I think, you know, you've just summed up Declan Rice fantastically well there, like, you know. I mean, the one thing I think that he's adding to his game there is goals. That was a fantastic header yesterday, like, you know what I mean. There was a couple of things that I was so impressed with yesterday. I don't know if you remember it in the first half. I think it was the first half, definitely in the middle of the field. Someone he's running with the ball. Someone clips him, so it's a foul. But he still, you know, you don't know if the referee's going to give it and all that. But as he's falling, he still wins the ball back from somebody else and just carries on. He gets up and carries on. The athleticism of him is immense. There was 4 times yesterday when he power past players and all that. One he got given a foul against when he was handing someone off who actually tried to foul him. It was a ridiculous decision. But it was, what I liked about it was on a couple of occasions he made a mistake. Straight away his hand goes up. Sorry, I've made a mistake. So you can't have a go at him. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're a fan, you know what I mean? Like, you think, like, oh, Deck, like, what are you doing? Sorry. Yeah. Oh, it's all right. Like, do you know what I mean? He just gets it. You know what I mean? Like, I love the way he interacts with the crowd. He just gets everything. Like, you know what I mean? And I know what you're saying about Patrick Vieira. They're slightly different in certain things, but like Vieira was unreal. But I think you've got this guy is unreal as well. Now, where I give him, when you say about Vieira is different and all that, where I give it, Vieira could put in a tackle, back in those days. You know what I mean? Like a real proper tackle. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, we think Declan can, by the way, but because of the way the game is now, it's got to be like nicking the ball, reading the challenge. You don't have to lunge in with those tackles. Not criticising Patrick when I say this, no, because that was the game then. You know what I mean? Which is completely different now. And you want my honest opinion? Patrick, Roy Keane, and all that would have adapted quite comfortably in this era. But I just love the way sometimes Tony Adams said it once, and I totally agree with this. Like, you might not be having the greatest game in the world, but one crunching tackle can get you up for the game, get the fans
100%.
back on your side. He hasn't got that in his armory no more because you're not allowed to do that. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. But the biggest compliment I can give him, he plays exactly the same game whether he's playing Burnley away, Real Madrid at home or away, Liverpool at home or away. It's the same attitude, same intensity, same everything, work rate. Doesn't matter who it's against, you know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest compliment you can give somebody. I thought he was absolutely outstanding yesterday. And I just think, you know, when you look at complete midfield performances, that was it yesterday, because he had to do the holding bit, which he does really well. He does the box to box. The energy levels of him, Dan, are unbelievable. He can score a goal. He can do set pieces. What can he not do? He wins his headers. He wins duels. You know what I mean? Like, his passing range is getting better and better. You know, and you're right about Zubimendi. Listen. I was worried about losing Thomas Partey last season, you know what I mean? Like, but Zubimendi's come in, completely different player, but dominates a game of football unbelievably well with what he does. And I think you're absolutely spot on when you say that there, like, that they complement each other fantastically well. And this is only, 4 months into their tenure together. And they've seemed to got already that off to a tee. Imagine what it's going to be like long term. You know, and that just shows you the intelligence of players and intelligence of him. You know, and I don't care. Look, you know, when people say, "Oh, it's only Burnley," Liverpool struggled right to the end of that game. And if you'd be really honest about it, if it weren't for that stupid defender handballing it, they would have got a draw that day, and it would have been a fair result. It would have been a fair result. We was totally in control of that game from start to finish. See a Burnley fan after the game was having a chat with him, and he said, like, we couldn't lay a glove on you. You know what I mean? And he said, look, all right, we got beat by Liverpool and we got beat by Manchester City, but that we had chances against both of those teams. He said we'd still be out there now and we wouldn't get a chance. He said he was so impressed with Arsenal, like, you know. So I like that when you get an opposition view and they sort of say what they actually think. And you know what I mean? Like, that was as good as a away performance. I've repeated it, but I thought it was as good as a away performance that I've seen. Gyokeres, Rice, Gabriel. I thought Saliba done well, but like wasn't, you know, didn't have to be at his best, Dan. Do you know what I'm saying? But it still, that was impressive. That spine yesterday was magnificent, magnificent.
It was. I thought it was incredible, and you're right in the first half. Second half, we dipped a little bit, if I'm honest, and don't really think that we were out. But I don't think we were outplayed. I don't think we were the worst team. But I thought Burnley came into it a little bit more, maybe, and I thought we found it a little bit trickier. But you know, it is what it is. Prome is a new member. Big up to you, Prome. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for becoming a new member. We've also got Lisan, who says Rice is the jack of all trades and the master of the set piece. I agree. Excuse me.
I think he's a jack of all trades, a master of them all as well.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
Like, jack of all trades, master of none is the comment, isn't it? Like, but I think he's a jack of all trades, a master of them all. You know,
yeah,
I mean?
I agree.
Like, I have to say that. I think he, you know, I mean, wonderful, wonderful player.
He is. Brio says, how will Arteta manage Rice's minutes in December? Now, this is a good question, actually, and this is a serious question for you, because I was having a chat with the boys in a pub, one of the Palace game or one of the midweek games, and we all have come to an agreement. We cannot lose this man because there's no one else like him in the team. There's nobody else like this guy. He does everything, Rice. If we lost Rice, I think we'd be in trouble. Marino, not for me. Not in midfield. I don't quite get it. invisible. Don't quite see what he does. Certainly nowhere on this guy's level. Eza, we'll talk about him in a minute, but not for me. He's not a Declan Rice. Zubamendi's fine, but we need someone alongside him. We are going to have to wrap this guy in cotton wool this season, Lee, for me. And I think we might have to try and rotate him a bit in December. And the other thing on top of that, you might not agree with this, but I do not like Norgard at the moment. I don't quite get it. He's sloppy, he's slow, he gives the ball away a lot, and he's been poor, in my opinion. Some people say does a job. I don't think he does really. I think he's definitely a massive downgrade or a drop off from what we've got. Now, that's a compliment to Rice and Zubamendi because they are top quality. But at the moment, don't see an upgrade on Jorginho there at all. I think Jorginho is better. So that's my big problems. And that's not a Norgard issue, by the way. That's Norgard does what Norgard does. He's been doing that since he's 31 now. But we cannot lose Rice. So I get this super chat. I know why he's saying it, because we cannot lose this guy, Lee. Do you agree?
100%. You know what I mean? Like you know, I go back to when Arsenal won titles and all that. Like, who was the main player that played most of the games? Omri missed big games. Bergkamp missed big games. The one that didn't was Patrick Vieira. You know what I mean? Like, you go back to all of our top games in those, he was there. So for me, Patrick was a key to us winning. I know like the other guys get all the praise and all that, but if he wasn't there, we'd have struggled. I you know, go back to Old Trafford 2002. You know what I mean? No, Omri wasn't there that day. Do you remember? No, Bergkamp, but he was. You know, like when it's mattered, he's been there. I think it's the same for Declan Rice. You know, Declan Rice apparently, like we're talking about this on Forever Arsenal, like he's only one. He's a booking away from not playing against Munich. You know, I want him playing against Munich, so maybe like you got to leave him out of Prague. I don't know. Norgard, I'm giving him a pass at this moment in time because I don't think he's had enough game time. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you've got to get minutes, and let's be honest. I think I've seen him against Port Vale, and I haven't seen him since, and now I've seen him have a couple of minutes in a couple of Premier League games, which is completely different to the league games. So I think that he needs to get some game time. I do think he should play in Prague, and I do think that he's got to be ready for that. Like, you know, so I think he's a decent enough player. I just don't think that he's quite at the pace of the game. I mean, it's never going to be at the level of Declan Rice, you know what I mean, and Zubamendi to be fair. But I do think that he's a bit of a. I think there are games when we're going to have to rest him. You know that come the international break, the England manager's not going to rest him. So, you know, we're going to have to do it very, very carefully. But when do you rest him? You know, you can't rest him at Sunderland, Dan. You can't. You know what I mean? I'm certainly not resting him at Tottenham and Munich and Chelsea. You're going to need him in those games.
Well, I think after that, you're going to have to say to him, you're out for the Carabao Cup game. You're out for the Champions League game against K-Rat, you're out against all those kind of games. You're just going to have to say, let's rest Rice. Look, he's an engineer who want to play, a bit like Saka has wanted to. But the last thing I need is for him to start getting loads and loads of knocks and niggles because he's playing too much. Because like you say, Tuchel ain't going to. And if I'm honest with you, I know we laugh and say, oh, he's going to play every minute. If you're the England manager, would you play Rice every minute? I would. He's bloody brilliant. I'd play him every minute.
That's the thing, you know what I mean? You've got an England manager that's trying to win.
Yeah.
He's trying to win the.
He wants to win. He's not. I better rest him because Arsenal are going for the league. He's not going to care about Arsenal, does he? He wants. He got Rice. I'll play Rice every minute. Thank you, Saka. Yes, please. Well, it's a compliment, really, Luke. I know we ain't used to it because we haven't really had any top quality. I mean, over the years, we haven't really had any top. Our best players have never been English, really, have they? Do you know what I mean? Like other than Tony Adams. Can't think of anyone that you look at and go, yeah, playing every game every week. We haven't had a Rooney or a Kane or a Beckham, have we? Or a Gerrard. Do you know what I mean? So we aren't really used to it. Now we've got Saka and Rice. And I must say, like, I think Saka and Eza were two of the weaker ones yesterday. Got to be honest. I didn't think Saka had his best game. I thought he missed a sitter. Should have put that in. Eza, I like bits, and then I can see him missing a bit. I like him a lot, actually, as a player. Eza, I think he's a brilliant player. But I don't think he is impact wow best summer signing ever. I don't think people were expecting that. I wasn't expecting that, but a few people were. They were like, Eza ain't really done much. I don't want to say too much, but ain't really done much yet. And I keep hearing this around the Emirates from me. Oh, no, okay, he's all right. He scored the other day. It's a bit like that in the concourse at the moment. And I kind of get it. I do want to see him bang. Look at him. Eza's the best pound a bit. Do you see? Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with what you're saying. I think he's been a little bit disappointed, if I'm being honest. If you want to be really honest about it, but I do think that it's a different system that he's playing, a different way of playing. When you're playing at Crystal Palace, he was getting a lot more space and it was counter-attacking football. This one's more possession based. So, and there was a lot of times yesterday when he's picking up the ball, there's two players around him. Well, if you look when he picking up the ball for Palace, he was in quite good space because it's counter-attacking football. So he needs to learn that, and he will do. I think that again he's been okay. He's been okay, nothing more than okay. So
I think when you think about what his impact has been so far, he scored against Port Vale. I know it's Port Vale, but at least he scored and got us through that tie. He set up Martinelli for the Man City goal.
Yeah.
Scored against Palace. So he has done bits and pieces, hasn't he?
100%. He's not been a flop by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that because the position that we're in, we haven't, and we're where we are, we're not relying on him to do that. He's bedding in. I think that when Odegaard is fit, he'll come back in that position. I don't think he's the number one in that position, but then you can go out wide, which might suit him a little bit more on the left-hand side. So I think at the end of the day, I think that, he's settling in at this moment in time. I think that he'll get better and better as it goes on. And if I'll be really honest, Dan, I don't think he's probably played. I think he's probably played more games than what I think that he would have been playing for him at this stage. I think he's been thrust into it a little bit too much. I think I watched Wanyeri come on it yesterday, and I felt that he knew the system and the way to play a little bit better than him, if I'll be honest. So listen, I think that give him time. That's the good thing, because we're doing so well. We can give Eze a little bit more time than probably what other teams could, Dan. And to a certain degree, Gyökeres as well, So, but I'm not in this position where I'm worried about Eze's performances and worrying about him at this moment in time. I still think there's more to come, but I'm not panicking by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I'm not panicking at all with any of our players. I think some of them have still got to settle in, and you forget we're only 10 games in. But I think match of the day was a good watch last night, and Timber and Calafiori were mentioned and highlighted, and I could see why. Now, Timber, we've been calling out for absolute weeks about how magnificent he's been. Ridiculous, like world-class status at the moment. Apparently Newcastle are beating West Ham 1-0 already.
They just kicked off.
That's unbelievable.
It's incredible, isn't it?
West Ham are a mess, mate. West Ham are just an absolute mess.
West Ham and Wolves at this moment in time
they're going down, aren't they?
Well, yeah. I think that they are.
Not looking good. It's really not looking good.
What happened with Lawless if they get relegated? You got to dump him. Or what happens here?
I don't want to think about it because I love Lawless, but it's going to have to happen, isn't it? And maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll get a Millwall and a Charlton fan on with him or something. It's horrible, but
poor old Lawless. What's going to happen with him?
He was so wanting Moyes out as well.
Do you remember how bad he was about that long? We used to, and he used to bite our heads off. Do you remember in the pub one with something? Because you do see it differently. I know you got the emotion of it all, like, and we was going, you know, I mean, he jumped down our throats about it, like, you know, I mean, you don't go week in, week out, you know.
He's given up now, though. He actually was on the show last week telling everyone he's done. He's given up. He thinks they're going down, and he thinks the ownership of the problem, which they are, to be fair to him. But Moyes, I don't think they realise how good they had it with Moyes. I'm not saying it was beautiful to watch, but if I said to you as a West Ham fan, the next 5 years I can give you a trophy and 4 years in Europe, are you going to go, no, thank you, give me Lopetegui? No, you're not, are you? And that's what they did. They got rid of Moyes, which is not an issue, by the way. If you say they wouldn't have got rid of Moyes and they wouldn't have got Iriola and they wanted a different style of football, I could quite understand what they were trying to do. But dumping Moyes and getting Potter and Lopetegui, I mean, we might as well just get Moyes.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
What are they doing, man? What are they doing, man? So now they're in trouble, mate. They're in serious trouble, West Ham. Wolves, I think they sacked their manager today. Wolves are in trouble. Yeah, Wolves are in trouble, but West Ham, I think there's a few teams. I don't look at many teams at the moment that are worse than West Ham and Wolves, and that's a bad sign. Let me tell you that when you're a quarter way through the season. So let's see what happens there. But look, before we move, I wanted to quickly touch on Calafiori, Lee, because this is a player that I was not a big fan of last year. Well, maybe that's harsh. He was all right. I looked at him and thought, positionally, not sure. Discipline, don't see it. Always having a cup of tea at the corner flag on the right-hand side when you're supposed to be a left-back. Needs him on a leash. Bit of a kid with ADHD that you need on a lead, is what I said. And, he's been fucking good this year, hasn't he? Calafiori. Mate, he's been unbelievably good. I'll tell you this now. And I'm a big fan of players who do this. I mentioned Nacho Monreal on my stream as one. When we signed him, I thought, don't quite get the hype here. He's all right, but I'm not sure he's great. Like, maybe he's just got to Arsenal because he's old Santi's mate at Malaga. Not quite sure. And then the season after that, I thought, oh, that's not so bad. That's good. Oh, yeah, I like him. Oh, now we're winning trophies. He's good. And I felt like he grew into the Arsenal team, become a bit of a leader, played in another couple of positions. I kind of feeling like I'm getting that a little bit with Calafiori because I weren't quite sure about him, Judge. I've got to be honest with you. I did say, however, I got to see him play for a season because he kept getting bloody injured. However, the first 10 games, I really, really like him, what I'm seeing, bruv. I've got to be honest.
And that's where you know, I mean, it's good about you because you was unsure about him, but now like it's just, and that's what football's about, you know, changing people's opinions at times, Dan. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I thought he was decent player, like, you know what I mean? I didn't think he was as good as what I've seen. I think he's like, I don't know if like centre half would be a better position for him, but the way he played yesterday again. His defending is very, very good. He doesn't let people get by him. He doesn't. The other good thing is if they put balls across, you know what I mean. He defends the back post really, really well with his physicality and his heading, and he gets forward. He makes so many positive runs, Dan. Like, you know what I mean. And you know, Miles Lewis-Skelly done nothing wrong to be left out of this team. You know, I have to say that. Like, you know, he seems to have jumped even further down the order now. Like, you know, I'm wondering if maybe that he could maybe look at playing midfield again. Like, you know what I mean, getting more minutes in there because I'd like to see that now. If you know, and maybe be the one that comes into midfield, but. You know, Calafiori, proving everybody wrong. I thought, again, another really, really solid performance from him. I like the way Mikel's managing him by not overplaying him and all that. Like, you know, it was highlighted on Match of the Day yesterday how much work the fullbacks go through. So, but yeah, I think he's been a surprising plus. I don't mean that nasty or anything negativity-wise. Because, you know, you would have said at the beginning of the season that Miles Lewis-Skelly was the, you know, that one. But, you know, at this moment in the performances, I think he's played, 10 Premier League games. I think he's been 8 out of 10 in every single one then. You know what I mean? Like, that's unbelievable. Like, as has Timber, by the way. But we know, you know, Timber was never being judged, was he? But Calafiori now is becoming very, very important to this team. Very, very important.
He really is. Timber and Calafiori have been outstanding Obviously, Saliba and Gabriel don't need to mention. Gabriel, again, monster from corners and set pieces, just ridiculous. I think you're right to mention Rice and Zubimendi and the partnership we mentioned for sure. What's mad right now, and you wouldn't know it, and no rival fans have mentioned it, Arsenal have actually got quite a few injuries, Lee. But
Yeah.
no one's talking about it because the squad's so strong. With Ethan coming on, Dowman the other night playing, you've obviously got the likes of Marino and coming up on top. But Martinelli's out, Madueke's out, Havertz is out, Jesus is still out, you've got Odegaard that's out, and now you've got Gyökeres has got a knock. That's 6 attacking players. Like, let's be real, that's a lot for Arsenal. Like last season, we wouldn't have coped with that, Judge. Like, we would have been in a mess right now. You know, we would have been like, who we playing? We've got to play bloody Sterling and got to play that. Might have to start Dowman every game and one area every game. You know what I mean? It's 16, 15, and 17. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not what you want to be doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I've got to be honest. I think West Ham have just got a penalty, by the way. Yeah, they have. They've just got a penalty. But I've got to be honest. Like, I don't look at it at the moment as a massive crisis, which is a big thing. However, we do have to make changes on Tuesday night because we've got to rotate a bit. I don't think we can play the same 11. What do you think is going to happen? Because we ain't got many changes players to make in the attacking minded. We could do it at the back. We could put a whole new back five out if you want. We could put Kepa in goal if you want. Not that I would, but he could do that if he wanted to. He's available. In Capier, quick mention on him. Very, very impressed, by the way, what I've seen from him. Mosquera, very, very impressed what I've seen from him. Obviously, we got Lewis-Skelly, we mentioned, and Ben White, who I thought was very good, actually, both of them the other night against Brighton. And then in midfield, you've got Marino and you've got Ethan, you've got Norgard. But in a front line, you can't really change it much unless you play Dowman, Nwaneri and Trossard and Marino. That's the only thing you can do, really.
Yeah, it is a bit of a problem. Like I was coming home on the you know, from the game yesterday and listening to Talk Sport, and you had Spurs fans saying, "Oh, they got injuries," and Chelsea fans saying they got injuries or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But you know, I remember last year when Arsenal had injuries. Don't make that as an excuse, and then all of a sudden everybody's making it as an excuse now. Like, you know what I mean? But when it was Arsenal having injuries, no excuse, no excuse. So I've got no sympathy for it. We have got a lot of injuries at this moment in time, as you said. Like, you know, all down, all up front more than anything. Like, you know, I would make changes tomorrow. Sorry, on Tuesday, I would play Kepa as well. I was very impressed with Kepa the other day. Like, you know, and I just think that. Is it necessary to keep playing Raya or just give him some extra minutes? So I would go down with that. I'd change the whole back four. Maybe play Saliba or Gabriel, one of them, because they both didn't play in midweek, just to keep things out. So I could actually go maybe someone else in midfield, but like I think that.
So what would your 11 be then? If you're picking Tuesday, what would you go with?
Well, I'd go with Kepa in goal, Ben White, Mosquera,
Capier,
and Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Yeah.
Norgard, Rice. I would play, even though I don't really want to, but I would, because I don't think we've got anybody else. So Norgard, Rice, and Zubimendi suspended, isn't he? So and I'd play Nwaneri in there. I'd play Eze on the left, Marino up top, and Dowman on the right.
Okay, so you would go with like a second string team then. That's interesting because I think it's a real interesting point, because this Prague game, I don't think we should be losing with any team to Slavia Prague. Let's just say that, put that out there. So I don't think what you've just said there is mad. I do think though some of these youngsters and some of these second string teams are going to go into this as a kind of first, and I think it's a little bit different playing Brighton at the Emirates than it is going away to Prague away. So I think maybe you won't make as many changes as you've said, but I don't think it'll be far off, Lee. I think Raya will play in goal. I think Ben White probably will play, and I think Lewis-Skelly probably will as well. I think he'll play Gabriel and Mosquera, and I think he'll probably go with Rice in midfield, like you've said as well, if Zubimendi's out, with Norgard. And then Ethan is an interesting one. I think Saka will play, and I think Marino will go up top. So, yeah, I think it'll be like a little bit half and half, if you get me, I think, which is fine by me. I'm absolutely fine by that. Let's just mention it, seeing as you have Dowman. Oh, my God. The other night, I know we played Brighton and it weren't great at times, and the first half was a bit of a mess, but The only thing I'll say about that is this kid, he just never ever ceases to amaze me how good he is, mate, at 15, and how easy it looks for him and how physical he is for that. He's getting kicked up in the air, kicked to shreds, just carries on, cracks on, has the confidence and the fearlessness to just take on players and run round them, take them on because he believes he's better. And the biggest compliment I think you can give, and Kevin Campbell said this to me actually when he saw Wayne Rooney at 14, everybody passed him the ball because they trust him.
Yeah.
That is mad to do that at 15. Now, I don't know you've played. I've played nowhere near the level of you. But when you get a youngster who's on, you always look after him, don't you? You always look after him. You look out for him and go, right, let's not take the piss with him. Don't give him the ball if he's got 3 players around him because he's a kid. Let's look after him. They don't look after him. They just go, yeah, Max will do it. Give it to Max. They'll go take it around everyone. And I think we've got a serious talent around here, mate. Serious.
Unbelievable serious talent. And I think that at the end of the day, that listen, he come off on Wednesday. And the one thing that I will say about him, and he took a little bit of not, is that physicality-wise, he can't last 90 minutes. But what he can do is do 50, 60, 70 minutes, I think. And even that for a 15-year-old is incredible, Dan. Let's be honest.
Unreal.
So I would give him a little bit of a start. Like, we don't know what's happening with Martinelli, whether, it's been a little bit quiet about that. It'd be nice to see him back if that would be good. But we don't know. And listen, I think that this is a big game for us because I think that if we win this one, it puts us very, very much in a good position to get into to qualify with that Bayern Munich game coming up. But I think if we can win this game, Dan, we're making a few changes. It would be a bloody good night's work. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. And like Ben White needs minutes. As I said, Nørgaard needs minutes. We've got to get these guys having minutes because I do think what you said earlier on and you alluded to, like December and January coming up, we've got loads of fixtures in there, and I think that you're going to need these players up and ready, and we need these guys back, and we need the ones that are not playing so much to come in and do it. And listen, these are the games that we got these players for, so that when we go to places like this, we can afford to rest players. As I said, in a way, I'd love to be able to say, Declan, we want you available for the Bayern Munich game, but I think we're going to have to take a gamble with that because we're running down a little bit. But you could actually play Calafiori at central defence, put Gyokeres out wide, and put Lewis-Skelly in there if you want to. Not risk Declan. Be interesting to see what would happen there. But I think that I think you're right. I think that maybe that's what I'm saying. But I think they'd probably go with Saka in there, Rice in there, and I think one of the 2 central defenders will play. One of them.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I actually agree with his super chat as well, which I did miss, which touches on what you've just said. We should use Lewis-Skelly as main rotation option for Rice. And if Rice is injured, he's the one I'd put in there, believe it or not. I'd play Lewis-Skelly. I'd rather see him there than Marino in that position. That might sound crazy. I think he gives us a bit more, mate. I think he gives us a bit more athleticism. I think Marino's a little bit more rigid, and I like what I see from Lewis-Skelly driving into midfield. So I think I'm with Lisan here. I think that is a great shout, personally. Yeah. We probably won't do a show due to us being busy tomorrow before the game on Tuesday. What are you saying, mate? Prediction wise?
Yeah, obviously I'm travelling tomorrow, so I'm gonna say 2-0 again. Boring as it is, 2-0. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1-0. I will emphasise my attitude will change after these 2 games. I just don't care how we get through these 2 games. I just want them won. You know what I mean? I'm not care about that. When we come against Tottenham, I want us to be a lot more better in performance because we're going to have to be. But at this moment in time, it's just about winning these next 2 games. I'm not care if it's boring. I just want it done efficiently. Sunderland next week is going to be very, very tough. I don't know if Mikel's got one eye on that. I also think that Saturday, Tuesday is a quick turnaround and you've got to travel as well. So I don't think it's going to be a game where we're all going to remember it too well. Even when we had, do you remember when Thierry Henry scored his record goal out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A great performance, just getting the job done.
2006, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about getting the job done for me, win the game, and then we move on, and So I think 2-0, but not an entertaining 2-0. And I don't care.
But I don't care, mate. Just win that game, and then obviously the Sunderland one comes up. We beat them, and it's all on Man City and Liverpool. Man City playing today. Just quickly before we close, Lee, what are you saying for that game? Do you think City beat Bournemouth?
No. I'd like to think like that. Bournemouth will win this game 2-0. No. I think that the best we can hope for is Bournemouth getting a draw. But I think Man City at home. I think that, listen, I think if Liverpool were playing Villa yesterday at Villa Park, I think it would have been a different game. But I think that home advantage is massive, and I think that City will come out winners today. And that's why it makes next week so much more important, because whatever happens, we know one or both can drop points. So this one, I think it'll be as we were. But yeah, like, I'm to be honest, Dan, I'm going to watch it. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see that Bournemouth are capable, but I think that I think that City will win it.
I think City will probably nick it. Haaland FC, innit? If he's on fire, they'll win. If he ain't on fire, then Bournemouth might nick something. That's what I will say. So, look, people, do me a favour. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on this one. Make sure you're following both myself and Lee Judges. If you follow Dan Arsenal 87, I'm doing some TikTok stuff at the moment because people are getting into that, and I'm trying to grow my TikTok. Apparently, it's the place to be. I'm not really getting on with it as much as I am with YouTube, though. I've got to be honest, but it is all it is. So make sure you come and follow me on Dan Arsenal 87, and I won't be back later, but Lawless is running the show on my channel at 9:30 with Deji and Don, who are going to be arguing because Tottenham lost to Chelsea, so that should be fun. Again. It will be them boys on at 9:30. So go show some love to This Is London. And we will see you in a few days' time, I suppose. Lee, I'll let you say bye to everyone, mate.
Yeah, just like I say, happy birthday to Charlie, my son, today. Yes. And of course, a very, very happy birthday for you tomorrow, Dan. Like, you know what I mean? It's Dan's birthday tomorrow. So have a fantastic birthday tomorrow. Share it with Ian Wright, of course, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but more importantly, you have a very, very happy birthday, and take care and have a rest of the weekend. Enjoy.